Hey guys, what's going on? Absolutely Beast here, bringing you guys a race on Forza 6. So this is a career race. It's a race on Daytona. It's actually the same track. It's actually the same race that I'm attempting for a second time for my video the other day, which was my Xbox One either reaction or discussion video. I can't remember which one, but one of those two, Xbox One X. From the other day, and I was having trouble with the track, and I didn't realize why until the race right after this. So this isn't a career, so if you see some bumping, that's why. I mean, I'm not intentionally trying to hit cars. I never do that, even during a computer race, even against non-player people, NPCs. But if there's any incidental contact, I'm not gonna stop and let a car go. That's just not my style in the campaign. I mean, it is my style in the multiplayer. I'll always stop and let someone go if I hit them. But in this case, I'm just saying I'm not going to do that because it's a career. I did rewind there. Just a moron. At that point, I realized why I was having such a struggle with this track, and it's just that it says default settings. It's all default settings. So. The reason I'm driving this car, when you race in the career in this game, it's actually really cool. It allows you to race through each of the series, and you can actually once you get to a series, you can actually pick one of 6 different categories for the cars. So you can drive like old classic cars, you can drive new race cars, you can drive whatever you want, well within those 6 classes. And so for this one, I chose the Aston Martin DBR9 because I was super familiar with it at the time. That's the car I was racing with in multiplayer, and that's just what I was familiar with. But here it's all default settings. So not only am I not used to the car, but I'm not used to I haven't raced this car in probably 150 hours of actual game time, which is, that's significant. So, but yeah, so it was a struggle for me. And then on top of that, it's all default settings. So there was a little bit of oversteer when I was braking, which I'm not quite sure why. So probably something to do with brake bias or a suspension setup, because I know it's a pretty balanced car. It's pretty hard to lose grip, but I was losing grip a lot in the default setting, which is funny. It's probably indicative of how much more aggressive I am now coming into corners and coming out of them. Whereas when I was driving this thing before in multiplayer, it was just like I couldn't break it loose. There's almost nothing I could do to break it loose. And so this car in our class, this is not our class in the campaign. It's a different type of class. It's like a GT3 type of class. Which is like, built race cars, like you see a C7R Corvette right there. There's, like an MP4 12C, but a race version, the McLaren. There's a bunch of different ones. There's Dodge Viper race car also. But, yeah, so this is the most user-friendly, probably, of the cars that you can race in our class. Very balanced, and like I said, it has really good grip. It basically has really good grip. The braking, handling are on par with all the rest of the cars, and the acceleration's pretty good. Top speed is okay, but it really struggles over 170. So top speed, I want to say I've never seen it go above like mid 180s, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I can't, at least on the default tune. Once you get past 170, which is the end of 5th gear, 6th gear just really drags. Like right there, it just basically feels like you're not accelerating at all. So, anyway, but I chose that, and this thing is really, really difficult with the default settings, but now that I drove it for a race the other night, it was much better this time. But, anyway, so during the next race, I realized why, and so when I played the career before, what I did is I tuned my difficulty level to the point where it was I was barely coming in 3rd place, because you have to finish in 3rd or above to move on to the next race. And there's a good pass right there on both those guys. So you have to finish in 3rd place or above, and what was happening was I'd race these races and I would just blow everybody away. Like I'd be so far in 1st that I could crash like a significant, like completely off the track, and then stall the car, and then start again and still be 20-30 seconds ahead of them, which is not fun. So I basically kept bumping the difficulty up until I got to the point where I lost a race, and then I kept it right there. So it's nail biter, so it's always like a struggle to get, up into 3rd place. Like a lot of times I'm doing it on the last lap or second to last lap, at least 3/4 of the way through the race before I'm finishing at. And that keeps me on my toes, you know, as I'm racing. Keeps me competitive and trying hard, as opposed to just sort of, you know, putting it on autopilot. And that's more of a challenge for me. That's more fun. It's at expert level right now. I think there's, I don't know how many are. I think there's at least one above where I'm at, but there might be two. I'm not really sure. So, but yeah. So what I realized on the next track, because I was in first place, or I was in first place on the next one for like a whole lap, like like a whole quarter of the race. That was a great pass right there. Sort of anticipated that. I couldn't tell you why. It's not like I thought about it necessarily, but like in that moment when I was racing, and you have this sort of heightened senses, you're just like zoned in. I just sensed it and made the move, and it was the right call. But so, you know, when you're like, I was noticing that I was up in first place and I was doing really well, and I thought, man, why am I doing so much better on this track? Because it's a track I don't know anywhere near as well as I know this one. And then I remembered, because it's been so long since I drove this car, when you're playing multiplayer, there were a couple of tracks where this was not the car to use, and this was one of them. And the reason is because the speed thing that I was talking about, like going from 170 and above, is just really hard with this car. I mean, you'll see it right here. See, I'm getting up there fast, you know, 120, 130, 140, 150, 160. And usually I would just leave it there in fifth gear and wind it out. But then this one, look at that. 72, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, look how slow that is. It's just it's horrible. So anyway, that was my moment where I realized why. But yeah, it's, you know, that's just what you do. And I got through this race, and that was the difficult one. And I'm actually a little bit relieved because I'm trying to go for the achievements. I'm just sort of in that achievement mode right now. And I thought that initially that I was going to have to complete each of the... Okay, so there's 4 subsections. Each of those 4 subsections have 4 series in them, and each of those 4 series have 6 races in them. So I thought, by looking at some of the achievements, I thought I was going to have to go through and do every single one of those volumes, and do every single series in every single volume with all 6 different variations of cars. So I thought there's absolutely no way I'm ever getting that achievement. But as I was just scrolling through them right after this race, I realized I'm already 35% of the way done. So it's pretty sure I won't need to do any of that, which is pretty cool. But so yeah, you know, this was just me doing the career. So there'll be more. The next few videos I upload, not the next one, but starting after that, there are going to be some different cars. I'm going to be doing some, just some different racing, series, and so I'll be switching to a different car, which will be kind of nice. And I'm not going to do, I don't think I'm going to do like the Formula 1 type cars. I'll do, you know, I'll do like some of the prototype stuff. I'm not sure if I'll do maybe like the Audi R18. I know that was one of my more popular videos back from Forza 5, so I may do that, but I haven't really quite decided yet. So I'm really just starting to get excited for Forza 7. You know, it's obviously, you know, we're still a ways away. We're still 6 months away. Well, I guess we're only 4 months away, aren't we? Man, well, okay. I mean, I'm starting to get psyched for it, though. You know, just watching some of the videos I've seen, listening to some of the stuff they talked about. So I don't know if I mentioned it yesterday, but one of the interviews that Dan Greenewalt did, he's a creative director for Forza. So, I mean, technically, I guess he's creative director for both Forzas, but he was talking about how, since they have so many cars in the game, over 700, that they actually introduced a collector mechanic into the game where there'll be actual, you know, little things you can get for collecting certain numbers of cars, and he sort of equated it to like a Pokemon. Well, one of the guys that was interviewing him equated it to sort of like a Pokemon, you know, collect them all type deal. So that's really exciting. I'm looking forward to that because I always love, you know, stuff like that. I love trying to, for games that I play a lot, because I'm not really the guy that plays like multiple games. I mean, you guys know, as you see by the content on my channel. And check out this drafting right here. I bumped him just slightly, but this is as close as you can possibly get to a car without actually hitting him right here. I mean, I'm like right on him. But yeah, I'm the guy that plays, you know, one game a lot. So I do like to go through, once I've played it a lot and I sort of get bored of multiplayer or whatever, I like to go through and get all the achievements and knock all those out. So that'll definitely be what a lot of my videos are coming here on this Forza. So thank you guys for checking this one out. Make sure you check out my channel. Make sure you check out all the old videos on there and subscribe and check back soon for more content. I'll see you guys next time. Appreciate it. Thanks so much.